Hello everybody, I'm Raphael Perry and it's time for some more of the Cretan Chronicles. Of course we're on book 1, the Bloodfeud of Altheus, and I do have a memory, a very distant memory. But first off, we messed up last time. In the previous episode, after defeating the evil innkeeper, we gained his axe, which lowered our protection by 3. However, when I equipped it, I erroneously erased the extra +1 protection for Athena's patronage. And so our protection is 8, not 7. Now, I believe, for some reason, I'm not sure why, that I have a very ancient memory of a fight against 2 barbarians or brigands or something on the road coming up shortly after our, well, I wouldn't call it a scuffle, our fight to the death with the murderous innkeeper. And I seem to recall that, and I want to go back and look at don't worry, I've got my reference section written down here. I want to look at back at the example of group combat, because my belief is that we only need to seriously injure a foe in group combat to take them out of the fight. However, the increase in might from the axe and the reduction in protection from the axe places us in such a situation, and I believe the game rules tell us that we are forced to use whichever weapon gives us the most might, regardless of how much protection it might remove. So our might is so high that we're going to have a good time hitting them, and if we were just using the club without the axe, we would struggle to hit them, I believe. And our protection is so low that they will have a good time hitting us. So it gets to the point where I think in that upcoming fight, pretty much all the attacks are going to hit. And we are not wounded because our fight came to an end. There we go. So let's pretend here's our 2 opponents and here's Altheus, right? Altheus does always strike first. We strike the first man. Well, no, he's further up the slope. We strike the first man, he becomes wounded. He strikes us, we become wounded. We strike him, he becomes seriously wounded and is out of the fight. Now, if the second man steps in to take the enemy turn to strike us, we become seriously wounded. We strike him, probably have to spend some honour to do so. He becomes wounded. He strikes us, we become dead. If the second man does not step in to take the enemy turn automatically, but waits until we have struck him, then we stand a chance. We strike the first man, he becomes wounded. He strikes us, we become wounded. We strike him, he becomes seriously wounded and is out of the fight. The second man drags his friend from the melee, or positions himself between us, essentially not taking a turn. Then we strike him, he becomes wounded. He strikes us, we become seriously wounded. We strike at him, possibly needing might to land a blow. He becomes seriously wounded and is out of the fight, and it's game over. And we win. So let's see. Fight continues on either side. If Altheus is fighting more than one opponent, the procedure is very slightly different. Altheus will fight them one by one, but each one's might is increased by 1 for each surviving companion. For example, if Altheus fights 3, in such multiple combats, an opponent drops out when seriously wounded and leaves the fight to his unwounded companions. If any... to his unwounded companions, if any. If all are seriously wounded, the text gives instructions as to what to do. So, all foes or all, including Altheus. We know about dropping down to 1 die unless everyone's seriously wounded. So, here we go. Later on in his adventure, Altheus meets 2 Cretans. Both they carry clubs and shields. Yeah. The numbers don't matter at this point. Altheus hits so that guy's wounded. He rolls back and misses. Hits again. Seriously wounded, drops out, leaving some panic to fight on. The enemy fighter does not get a turn, and it goes to Altheus attacking again. So he kind of zips around from one opponent to another. Very Dragon Age role-playing game rules, actually, which is a great rule set, by the way. A bit simplistic, but it's an introductory rule set, so it does what it's meant to. So at this point, thinking both turns to the appropriate paragraph, finds out they're fanatic going to keep fighting on, so now everyone's seriously wounded. Yeah. Nasty. Okay. So, we are at section 263 with a potential very nasty fight coming up. Although I don't remember too much about it. So in that case, if all the blows can land, mathematically we win a fight against 2 men, provided they don't want to fight on after being seriously wounded. Otherwise we're in really deep trouble. You leave high-walled Tyrans far behind you as, mulling over the night's events in your mind, you journey north to Mycenae. The road is high-banked and there are few travellers. Some hours pass and you reach a place where a track joins the road. Unsure of your route, you question a passing farmer on his way to the market at Tyrans. He tells you that the track leads east to Epidaurus, the home of Asclepius the healer, but that the road leads you, as you thought, to Mycenae, the lion city. We can take the track to Epidaurus, or carry on to Mycenae. Is Mycenae our ultimate goal, or just the next stop on our route? I can't remember. I think, should we have to go to Athens? Because the Athenians go to Crete. I think. But I think a detour to the home of Epidaurus. Well, to Epidaurus, home of Asclepius the healer. Incidentally, Asclepius the healer is the creator of the caduceus, the 2 serpents fighting each other around the central healing staff, which is a symbol of the modern medical profession. Because he saw 2 snakes fighting and thought, what if I can actually use poison to fight another poison? Not the same poison, but 2 different poisons. And so came up with the idea of using poisons to drive other diseases and poisons out of the body and heal people. We'll take the track to Epidaurus, I think. Because while we are not particularly injured, there may be something beneficial there. Asclepius may give us some kind of magic potion we can drink in a fight to recover a wound level or something. But I don't know. Take the track to Epidaurus, yes. I think that picture might be from the previous section. I'm not sure. I suppose we'll find out one way or another. As you trudge along the dusty road, the midday sun beats down on your back. You sit down to take a drink, and as you do, you notice something strange beside the road. You stand up, and when you reach the place, there is a skeleton sheathed in rotting leather armour. Across the road, a boot and a broken rusty sword hilt lie in evidence of an ancient struggle for the traveller's life. The place is overgrown with bushes and scrub. meaning its prime site for an ambush. You sigh and utter a quick prayer to your patron that your fate will be a happier one, and that amicable Altheus will live at least to see the halls of his father. But the journey beckons, and you set off again to Epidaurus, and this is in italics, so we will take the hint. Just as you are about to leave, you notice something glint in the bushes. You investigate. It is an old, rusty helmet, but still useful. To protection. Pleased with your find, you continue. Well, we will absolutely have that. Bring our protection back up to 10. Obviously, I'm separating out the axe last because we may be able to replace it with a better weapon. You come at last to the town of Epidaurus. You look around in amazement at the crowded streets. Unfamiliar faces push past you and crush you against the high-towered walls. No one stops or notices you, and they all seem miserable, as if abandoned by the gods. Eventually, courage builds itself in your mind, and you seek to converse with a high-born lady. She ignores you with a contemptuous glance. Almost in despair, you seize a passer-by and shake his arm. "Friend," you say, "where's the inn? Why is the town so afflicted? Is Olympian Zeus angry with his people? Do the harpies visit your feast tables laden with the fruits of the earth?" The man only shakes his head and points lamely ahead. You look and see a scruffy tavern. You turn to question the man, but he has scurried off. Resigned, you walk towards the small, squat building. The steps are unwashed and the windows are caked with dirt. A sign above the door tells you that it is indeed a place where you can find a room for the night. We can go in or go away. The people are miserable. They're miserable, they're busy. They have no time for me. Is this... I don't think the place is diseased. It's definitely run down. Dirty doorsteps. The place is in such a bad state, it may be... I suppose we should investigate and see if there's anything we can do to help. If it's in a really bad way, no one's going to bother us there. But if it's in a really bad way, there's probably a very bad reason for it. Okay. We go in and hope we don't catch some kind of nasty disease or something. This is the town of the healer, after all. Inside, it is worse than even the wretched exterior suggested. There is a powerful smell of rotting food and unwashed locals. Despite being nearly overcome by nausea, you step up to the bar. "Innkeeper," you shout, "a room for the night!" At the far end of the bar, the innkeeper, a grossly fat, cowardly-looking man, continues to ignore you. Beside you, an old man with bare feet speaks. "Son, if I were you, I would leave at once, for Epidaurus is beset by foul bandits, terrorizing the temple of Asclepius the healer. Go quickly, for they will likely kill strangers, or, perhaps, since you hold yourself as a hero, you could rid our town of this curse," he adds with sarcasm heavy in his voice. "You could rid our town of this curse." The innkeeper has now come over and proffers you a key to an upstairs room. Do you pay him and take the key to the room, going upstairs for long-fingered sleep to close your weary eyelids? Or do you react to the old man's taunt at once and seek the bandits? Well... Apparently, money is not important to us in this adventure. We have enough. If it says, do you have money? We say, no, we should have gone to... Let's go face for bandits. Although I seem to think the bandit encounter was out of town, so let's go but not be foolhardy. We'll look for italics. You're travelling along a road deeply rutted by the carts of pilgrims, bringing sick ones or gifts to the temple of the healer. Beside the road, the trees and bushes rustle menacingly. The wind whips up spirals of dust from the track which further obscures the way ahead, and there's a hint here. Let's take it. As the path narrows, the rustling of the trees seems less natural. You dive into the undergrowth, and as you creep stealthily, you find that your fears are well-founded, for two swarthy-looking men armed with long knives lie in wait for unwary passers-by. Passers-by. We could challenge them to fight, or attack them without warning. If we challenge them, one might run off in fear. Especially as we have the advantage. Attack them without warning seems a bit cowardly. We might lose honour. We'll challenge them to a fight. The two bandits have Might 4, Protection 10, but carry long knives. Might 2, Protection nothing. So... Might 6, Protection 10. And the first bandit will gain... Remember the bonus to the first bandit's might, because he has one companion. His might is 7, 4 plus 2 plus 1. If they are seriously wounded, let's hope that if you surrender, if you die and are saved by Zeus, if you retreat... Right. So. A 2 or a 3 always misses. Well, bugger. I wish I'd not just remembered that. And a 11 or 12 always hits. 2 dice. Plus 9. Altheus scores a 17, which is definitely a hit. The first bandit is wounded. The bandit then strikes back with a total might of 7. 11. Altheus has a protection of 10, and so is struck. And is also wounded. Well, we know what to do. Mathematically, yeah, we got another hit. That man is seriously wounded and out of the fight. The second brigand steps up, and we strike at him as well. He is also now wounded. However, he will strike at us with a might 6, so he needs a 4 to hit us. Realistically, I would need to... Protection 10. Okay, so hang on. Yeah, we'll just let him roll. Yep, he hits us. We are now seriously wounded. And rolling a single die to hit. I believe 462. When rolling a single die to hit, a 1 always misses and a 6 does not always hit. We are, however, rolling 1 die plus 9. I could spend honor to boost our chance of hitting, but that doesn't seem like it's going to help, right? We roll a 12 and seriously wound the foe. They are both seriously wounded, and now we'd better hope they don't keep on fighting. And those knives are better than our club. 600. "We will never surrender," says the leader, and as he does, they impale themselves on their knives. You may have 5 honor points, and you carry on towards the temple, wondering at the ways of men, or take the hint. I believe this is an alternative to this section. But let's just see if it is read the whole section or is it immediately. Pretty sure it's immediately. And would it be better than 5 honor? I don't know. May run risk of adding 20 if there's a non-standard action at that point. Which, okay. What do we do if they're about to take their own lives? So you would let them go, persuade them to surrender. Well, I mean, it's not like we're going to offer to let them kill us. Kindly wonder at the ways of men in private and don't bother the gods. Their death is enough. Have 1 shame point and go to 216. We get no shame. Oh, no honor cost. Wait, there's an honor cost to take a hint? Or is there sometimes an honor cost? So yeah, I was correct in thinking why. You know, what would the hint be? What kind of action would we take? Hang on. Okay, if there's no suitably heroic action. Got it. So, just go back to 600. I'm absolutely going to take the hit to shame, but I just want to... so they both go to 216. So, in that case, I think we will take the 5 honor and the point of shame for wondering if there was anything we could do to help the situation, and we are restored to full health. I think when I first played this, I interpreted it that the second opponent would get the attack in before I would strike at them. A mountain lion roars in the distance, and you hurry onwards, anxious to accomplish your task. The temple is much closer now, and you can see a statue of the god, its face convulsed as if in mortal pain. The fountain of Asclepius flows red with blood. Amazed at this sacrilege, your limbs tremble and you are filled with a divine fury. Onwards you rush into the temple precinct, bellowing strange words as you go, words which come from the gods, like a boar speared in the frenzied chase cries out its defiance against the high-hearted hunters. Desecrating curs, the god will punish you for your pitiful pride, thinking that you could defile his temple and escape the price. At this, 2 bandits step forward from the gloom where once Asclepius' light shone, saying nothing. You know that you must retreat or fight. We could retreat now. You may not do so later, or attack. I think we fight. I also think this could be a much worse fight. You step into the attack. The bandits have a basic might of 4 and protection of 10, but are armed with greaves, which gives them 1 protection, and long knives, 2 might, no protection, so they are might 6, protection 11. So they are slightly harder to fight than the previous foes, and we're aware that the bonus for the first fighter, obviously. They will continue fighting even if seriously wounded, fired on by fear of the god. Remember that you may not retreat as the temple is too enclosed. Well, bugger, this could get really tough, couldn't it? If we roll a 2 or 3, we miss. If we roll anything else, we hit. We have no need to use honour for the assault. We may very much wish to use honour for our defence, especially against the first combatant. Let's strike. We strike the first man. He is wounded. He will strike at us with his total might of 7, meaning we're probably going to be hit. The fact he's hitting on 3 means we might... We'd need to put like 4 or 5 might into honor into this to avoid being hit, so I think we just let him attack. And he just hits us. Oh, I see how this is going now. Okay. So we strike him again. That is an absolute hit. He is now seriously wounded. And uses 1 die to hit us. I'm going to use 2 honor to boost our defense up to a 12. I shouldn't say it. Okay. So that he will need a 5 to hit us. He rolls a 1. He totally misses. We are rolling 2 dice plus 9. And take him completely out of the fight. He is now dead. 1 bandit remains, and we turn our attention to him. We are wounded, but we strike him, so now so is he. He lashes out at us with his might of 6. He needs a 4 to land a blow. There's not a lot we can do about that. We got 6 honor for defeating 5 honor for defeating the other 2 bandits. We spent 2 already. We probably don't want to use too much. This would then make us seriously wounded. And then we'd be rolling 1 die plus 9, which would hit, take him down to seriously wounded. And then we... Okay, so we let him seriously wound us now, I think. Which he certainly does. At which point we are using 1 die plus 9 against his defense of 11. We hit. He is now seriously wounded also. He has a might of 6 and our protection is 10. I say we boost our protection to 12 again. And we let him roll. 2 plus 6 is 8. We're fine. We are, however, seriously wounded. So with our 1 die plus 9, we strike him down, and he lies there, his life's blood bleeding onto the temple floor. We are victorious, and we're taking a pair of greaves and buckling them to our legs. Taking us up to a protection of 11. And we probably want to ditch this axe for a better weapon pretty blooming soon. We are victorious against all the odds. And it's in italics. As the second strong grieved foeman falls, you see the fountain flowing in healing water once more, clear and sparkling with the god's favour. The face of the statue, no longer twisted, smiles and seems to look at you in thanks. You are now a favoured one of Asclepius. You may also have 6 honour points for your victory in combat. And there's a hint here. So 6 honour takes us to 18. And have 1 Asclepius's favour. You should drink from the fountain of the healer god. If you do drink, then, for the next combat only, the god will aid you. Instead of being wounded when an opponent hits you in combat the first time, you will remain healthy. Only the second hit will move you to wounded, and so on. And that is for the next combat only. Okay. And this will be for the next fight we get into only. That's really good, because it could be a really nasty fight. Okay. So, these 2 fights have helped us to learn about group combat and how nasty and dangerous group combat can be. Because obviously, you know, we need to hit our opponents twice, they need to hit us 3 times. But if, as it's group combat, we'll be fighting at least 2 people, maybe more. And each of them will essentially have 2 health to our mere 3. The sun, saffron-robed, has climbed high above you to your left, and now begins her long descent as you come to the river Cleonae. Its waters reflecting her life-giving rays. In the distance you see Cleonae itself, and the woods reeve the banks of the water to the town. The deep whirling river is spring-swollen with the melting snow from the mountains. The deep whirling river is spring-swollen with the melting snow from the mountains, and a shallow ford is the only crossing. An aged crone stands despairing, unable to cross, staring at the muddy waters. "Pity me," she pleads, "for I am old and weak. If you would carry me, I could cross the river. Otherwise I must stay here, and stony-hearted hunger will take me, and it will be you who has killed me. Capital H for hunger. Attack the woman and beat stony-hearted hunger to it. Throw her in the river and tell her to swim. Cross the river without her, or carry her across the river. This reminds me of the beginning of the story of Jason and the Golden Fleece, where Jason carries an old woman across the river, but as he does so he stumbles and loses one of his sandals. And it turns out that she is the goddess Hera, wife of Zeus. And she thanks him and blesses him. And when he arrives at his father's court, he unwittingly fulfills the prophecy that a man wearing only one sandal will arrive and will be the next heir to the throne. And he's sent off to fetch the Golden Fleece to prove that he deserves the throne. Is it King Creon? I think it might be. Anyway, let's carry her across the river. We have no particular reason not to. It's not like she's going to pull a knife out and hold it to her throat and try to kill us. This is a fairly heroic fantasy adventure. As in heroic fantasy, as in we should behave in a heroic manner. That has been made clear to us in the description of how the hints section works early on, in the rules at the start of the book. So we will carry her over the river. You pick the woman up and carry her into the water. The current is strong, but you find yourself pushing ahead quickly against it. Soon you are approaching the other bank, and the crone speaks, but her appearance is altered, and you now recognize her as Hera, the divine queen. "Altheus," she cries above the rush of the water, "you have done well. Although you do not recognize me, you have done me a favour. Hera is not our patron. Therefore we go to section 60 instead of 584. If she was, there might have been some extra favour involved, but as it stands, you're in favour with Hera. You may take 2 honour points as well. We will absolutely do that. Taking us to 20 honour points. We could theoretically have had 24, but we really needed to use some in that fight for our protection. We didn't necessarily need to use a full 4 points, but mathematically that was pushing them to need like at least average rolls to hit instead of very low rolls. You struggle across the rest of the river, your tired legs shaking with the cold. You hear something drop in the churning water. Perhaps you have dislodged a pebble. At length you struggle up the other bank. However, there is a clue here. So, 314. You have dropped the jewel. What jewel? This is what made the splash. You feel around, and after a time you find it and put it back in the pocket of your tunic. You continue on to the town of Cleonae and find an inn. So I presume travelling on without it, we would be told immediately that we'd lost it and couldn't go back for it, or we'd later on be told, did you cross the river? And well, first off, we're no longer seriously wounded. The mother's gem dropped the jewel. I presume that's it. Right. The innkeeper welcomes you in when you knock, smiles and beckons you towards a room. You choose to have a meal first and retire contented to a good night's rest. In the morning you eat a hearty breakfast and carry on out of town. Well, I think we've done quite well. The sun, now well above your home, far off in Troezen, throws gentle light down on the... No, Troezen would be more German. It probably is Troezen. Throws gentle light down on the earth below. Its warming rays play on the leaf-filled trees. The way out of Cleonae climbs gently to the crest of the foothills. Your legs, now fresh and eager for the journey, make light work of the ascent. As you reach the top, you gasp at the panorama below. To your left, the Gulf of Corinth opens out in a vast expanse of wine-dark water. At its head lies the city of Corinth, standing like a watchtower, vigilant over the sea in case the pirates come to carry off the crops and lay waste to the well-stocked villages. We don't need a tuve. Lay waste for well-stocked villages is a slightly more old-fashioned sentence, but works totally fine. At the foot of the hills to the right is little Cenchreae, sister of Corinth, as the moon is to the sun. Beyond the harbour, the Saronic Gulf reaches out almost to Athens, city of the owl-eyed goddess. Between the waters, the isthmus links the Isle of Pelops with the wider lands beyond. You ponder your choice between bustling Corinth and quiet seafaring Cenchreae. Was there not an H there? No. Cenchreae. Right. Centria? Possibly. No, Greek. It's not Latin, so it probably is Cenchreae. Cenchreae, sorry. Aea is Aya. Well, I think I'm going to end the episode here. We've done reasonably well, tackled multiple group fights, gained a lot of honour and a point of shame, and I think it'd be a shame to lose this progress now, don't you? Right. Well, I'm going to end the episode here then. I hope you've all enjoyed this one, and I'll look forward to seeing you all in the very next episode. I'll say goodbye for now, though, and cheerio, everyone. See you all soon.